All right. Good morning. Gosh, it's been a long day already. Good afternoon. It is 2:45 here on Wednesday, so get with it. We are just waiting for a few more screens to pop up here as we start today's Public Safety and Health Committee meeting. Once again, we are still joining you via Zoom and all of the fun that comes with that. You can find the links to join all the meetings, both Wednesday committee meetings as well as Monday night council meetings by visiting the city's website at www.cimissoula.mt.us/webcasts. For those of you who can see our screen, we just put that up. That is the portal in which to find out the upcoming meetings, how you can join, how you can give public comment. Also, you can always reach out to council members and leave us all a voicemail by calling 406-552-6012. That's a voicemail that goes out to all members of the council. Or you can send us an email with your thoughts, concerns, or questions at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. You can also join and watch the meetings via the city website, as well as our YouTube channel, as well as MCAT Spectrum Channel 190. So even though we're not meeting in person still because of the pandemic, there are plenty of ways for you all to continue to be in touch. I should have, before we started, checked with Kathy to make sure that we were all up and going and broadcasting and live. Kathy or Diane? Diana?
We are casting on YouTube Live and we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. Apologies for the starting off thinking it was morning was just, got me off on the wrong foot all the way around. So great. I do see that we have a majority of council members present, but not everybody. Kathy, do you want me to quickly call the roll or would you like to?
Diana's running each time?
Yes, I'll call the roll.
Oh, perfect, Diana. Okay, you go ahead and do that.
Stacy Anderson.
I am here.
John Contos.
Here.
Mirtha Becerra.
Present.
Heather Harp.
Present.
Jordan Hess. Gwen Jones. Julie Merritt.
Present.
Jesse Ramos.
Present.
Amber Sherrill.
Present.
Sandra Vasica.
Present.
Brian Van Lossberg. Heidi West.
Present.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Diana. I really appreciate that. Okay, folks, we do have approval of minutes from February 3rd. I do want to publicly note these are the minutes from when we had our discussion about Ms. Vasica's gun resolution. And at the end of that, I out loud said the count of the vote incorrectly. So I want to take this opportunity just to correct it, even though it is correct in the minutes. The final vote on that was 3 yeses, 8 nays, and 1 absent. I did not count the absent. So wanted to make sure that was publicly said. It's correct in the minutes. Does anybody have any corrections on the minutes? All right, seeing none, they will stand approved. We have one item on our agenda today, and that is and I do believe Police Chief White is here. I see his box. Give him a moment to turn on his camera, but we are, it's the contract for the renovations of the Catlin Street Police Facility, and the Police Chief, Jason White, is here to present on that. So take it away, Chief White.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if you recall back during the budget cycle in the summer, we discussed doing a remodel to our Catlin facility to add locker rooms, a shower, and also add some security fencing to provide a larger secure lot for our departmental equipment. That made it through the initial budget process as approved by council. At the time, we only had an estimate as to costs, and the estimates we projected around $262,000-ish. And so subsequent to passage of the budget, we went out to actual bid and received 2 bids for the work to be done. And the one bid came in with contingencies and budgets for lockers, and the contract for the architectural work came in at $237,000. So that is the amount that we went to the MRA board and asked for funding. And the MRA board approved funding through the Urban Renewal District 2 to provide that funding for the department's remodel. And we're here today to respectfully ask for permission for the mayor to sign the contract so that we may go forward with the remodel to add the locker rooms, the shower, and secured parking facility.
Great. Thank you so much, Chief White. I know we had quite a bit of discussion about this over the summer through our budgeting process, and ultimately the item was included within our budget that was passed by a majority of council at the end of August. So I will open it up for questions from council members. And let's see, I don't think we have anybody public other than Mr. Jordan joining us. So we'll start with questions from Ms. Fasica.
Thanks. Why is this coming out of the MRA funds instead of the general fund?
When I had a discussion with the mayor regarding the funding source, that was the mayor's choice.
Okay, thanks.
I do believe I see Dale Bickle, the city administrative officer, who has turned on his camera. He may be able to shed some light on the thought of what budget source this came out of.
Thank you, Stacey. Dale Bickle, Chief Administrative Officer. When we first acquired the facility, if you recall, MRA was a big investor. They put in about $1.5 million into the facility. Because it's a publicly owned facility out there, it is considered public infrastructure under the law. And so this is eligible, and then this is just continuing that investment in the facility with being able to add the lockers upstairs and that shower.
Thank you for that further explanation, Mr. Bickle. Ms. Fasica, do you have a follow-up? Okay.
I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay, great. Ms. Merritt.
Dale or Chief White, what was originally proposed when we discussed that in the budget was to use MRA funds for this? I just can't recall now.
Go ahead, Dale. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was written that way. Yep.
It was written that way in the CIP. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Madam Chair, I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Thanks. I thought that was the case, that it was originally intended to use MRA funds for this. I guess my follow-up question is the contractor that was chosen, this EPICC, is that a local contractor?
I'm looking at the contract now, and yes, they are.
Stacy, you're muted.
Thank you, Ms. Merritt. I appreciate that. Okay, apologies for that. I'm trying to be quiet. Ms. West.
I was just going to make the recommended motion and just say that I think our police officers having access to both locker rooms and evidence storage is important. I think there's lots of reasons. I think we discussed this at length during the budget process. But I think especially in the day of age where our officers regularly encounter environmental hazards that they shouldn't be taking home to their families, whether that's, you know, illegal substances or even the reality of COVID. I think it's in the best interest of the public for our officers to have a place to change and shower if need be before they return home. And, you know, evidence storage, I think, is vital for having, you know, good, solid investigations that protect the civil rights of everyone involved. So thank you.
All right, that motion is in order. And I thank you for making that. You could read my lips because that was what I was asking for when I was on mute, was for a motion. So we have a motion on the floor. It does appear that we have some questions or comments from Mr. Ramos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I will not be supporting the motion today, and this is certainly not because I do not support the police officers, because I certainly do, and I've demonstrated that during my time on councilors. This is a funding issue for me, and as a financial advisor, I'm very picky about this sort of stuff, and I just personally don't see this, and also the former chair, I guess, the director of the MRA, happens to agree with me on this issue. So it's something that I think is difficult and complicated, and I know that the state legislature is working on tightening up MRA so that we can get rid of some of these different ambiguities, so to speak, so we can get a little clarity. Because the way I see it is these TIF funds, if it wasn't for the TIF district, these monies would be going to the county and the schools as well. If it wasn't for the TIF district, and in my opinion, we're essentially using this monies, making the schools and the county pay for this by having that existence of the TIF district right there. So this is just a funding issue. I certainly support the officers, and I really think this is a worthy project. It's something they've been asking for years and years and years, but this needs to come out of general fund. And I know people are going to say, well, Jesse, then we'd have to raise taxes. And it's like, no, we don't. We just have to reallocate the resources that we're using through efficiencies and prioritization. And I think that this would rise to the top of the priority list within the general fund. So respectfully, I'm not going to be supporting this due to the funding differences of opinion that I have with some of my fellow council members, but I do think it's a worthy project. So thank you.
Ms. Vasika.
Thanks. Jesse pretty much hit the nail on the head. When I did my ride along and I spoke with a lot of police officers, it was really obvious that these facilities are very desperately needed, which makes it incredibly frustrating to see the funding mechanism used to make this purchase, because it is an inappropriate use of TIF funds. This should come out of the general fund, and with a very, very heavy heart, I have to vote no on this. If I voted yes on this, it would make me a hypocrite, because even though this is something I really want, I wish that we could use whichever funding mechanism we wanted for it. But frankly, we can't. This has to come out of the general fund. So that is why, with a very, very heavy heart, I am voting no on this.
Ms. Merritt.
Just to be clear, legally, this is an appropriate use of MRA funds. The idea that it's not is Ms. Vasika's opinion, not a legal fact. So I just want to clarify that.
Thank you, Ms. Merritt. Any other further discussion from council members? All right, I will quickly weigh in on my opinion on this. I will be supporting this. I don't think any of us are going to argue the merit of the project and the fact that our officers need this space to, properly, shower and change and, the things that you would expect that we would provide for the people who are serving our community so valiantly. I do think that this is, a way in which MRA is a tool in our toolbox to fund various things. This is appropriate to fund within that, using that tool. I do understand that Mr. Ramos and Ms. Vasika are working with the legislature to try to tighten up our ability to utilize TIF fundings, but it's not just for things like this all the time. It is the Scott Street project. It is we used MRA funding for the health clinic in conjunction with the food bank. There are community benefits that we are able to use with the tool in our toolbox of MRA. And, we need to do that as a community to balance all the needs and with the resources that we have. So, and there were no amendments proposed during the budgeting process to move this from an MRA to a general fund, when we specifically talked quite a bit about this during the budgeting process. So, Ms. Harp, I see you have your hand up.
Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate it. I know this is always a difficult thing when we're trying to weigh projects that come before us in ways and trying to find the dollars to do it. And the thing of it is that when it comes down to trying to prioritize what comes first, this is where we have the disagreements, right? Do we fund police efforts, or do we fund the victims and making sure that they are protected? And in this particular case, we're talking about a structure and not the people who are either working on the police force or those who are crime victim advocates or any of our other staff. The general fund is for the people, the personnel costs in particular, amongst many other things. We can't fund our personnel through MRA funds. So here's an opportunity where we can actually diversify how we actually spend our dollars by using MRA funds in particular for this kind of project. I'm sorry if it's not completely coherent today. It's not my best day, but this is a particular kind of project that just is right up MRA's wheelhouse, and I think we got to take advantage of it.
Thank you, Ms. Harp. Ms. Fasika.
Thanks. I just wanted to clarify a few things. Yes, Julie is right. It is my opinion. That's why I said inappropriate and not illegal. And then also, I'm not working with the legislature regarding TIF, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Oh, apologies for that. I thought I saw you testifying on the TIF bill at the legislature. So my misunderstanding. Anyways, okay, folks, I think we have had a discussion. So we have a motion on the floor to approve and authorize the mayor to execute and sign a contract with EPICC LLC, lots of letters in that, for renovations to the Catlin Street Police Facility. Diana, can you please take a vote of those members present?
Yes. Starting the vote, Stacy Anderson,
Yes.
John Contos,
No.
Mirtha Becerra,
Yes.
Heather Harp,
Yes.
Julie Merritt,
Yes.
Jesse Ramos,
No.
Amber Sherrill,
Yes.
Sandra Vasika,
No.
Heidi West.
Yes.
All right, the final vote is 6 yeses, 3 noes. Hang on, I'm sorry, it just flipped out on me. 6 yeses, 3 noes, and 0 abstain.
And 3 absent.
Yeah, it didn't actually say that, but it is, you're correct.
Okay. Even though I too am having an off day, I thankfully can get to 12. So it is 3. All right. So that, I guess Mr. Ramos has said that he will not be here on Monday night. So I guess Ms. Fasika, do you care if this is on consent agenda or committee reports?
This can go on the consent agenda. I'll just separate and speak to it briefly. I don't want to take more time from from Chief White than we have to.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. I do want to remind folks that if you do plan on dividing the questions on the consent agenda, to please let Marty know prior to Monday night so that she has the software all queued up for that. So she's not having to do that on the fly. Always just a good housekeeping. So great. This will be on the consent agenda. Thank you so much, Chief White, for joining us for Public Safety and Health today and for your service to Missoula. Anything for the good of the order?
No, just thank you very much. And just to let you know, we have, just on an update for you, we rolled out the new 1040 schedule on February 1st. And it's been exceptional. The officers are really enjoying the shift. we are able to put a lot more resource into the city on straight time. So in the past, from about 9:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock the following morning, about the maximum number that we would have on shift patrolling was 7 patrol units, and now we're at 12 throughout that time. So it makes our ability to respond to incidents much greater, and it also is allowing our officers to engage in a lot more proactive activity. And that's not just enforcement, that is making positive community contacts and getting out and getting into parks and those kinds of things. So the first month has been a great success. The other update is with the new schedule, we're able to have dedicated training days. And this month started those first training days. So using our enhanced budget for training, we were able to bring in an instructor, and today wrapped up the second session to finish up the other half of the department. And we provided de-escalation training and critical communication training for 8 hours to everyone in the department this month. So the schedule is great for the public. It's great for the officers, and it's great for allowing us to do the training that the community has asked us to do. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chief White. We'll have you back later in the spring for a department update, and love to see a little bit more about that. And I do want to wish you, I do believe we're coming up on your 1-year anniversary as the chief of Missoula Police Department. I'm sure there is in no universe you could have imagined the first year to look like this, but do want to acknowledge that and thank you for your continued service to Missoula, and just want to acknowledge your anniversary. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, you get an extra 8 minutes of your day for from this committee. Thank you for your time and your service, and public safety and health will be adjourned.